A lot of Indian American takeout dishes are pretty ill suited for the home kitchen, but restaurant style tandoori chicken is not one of them. It's so easy, so good, and when you cook it over charcoal with indirect heat, you can get something that's just as good as what you'd get with a traditional tandoor oven. The key to this is the marinade. Most recipes call for a huge laundry list of ingredients, but I'll show you my recipe that you can whip up in a few minutes. If you just use the wings, you can have this as a snack or even a meal. And I'll show you a few quick sides that you can pair up that go really well with this later on in the video, so stick around. Okay, so the first thing I did was marinate the chicken. For this recipe, I used chicken wings. I used about 2 pounds. For me, this was about 12 wings, but I have regrets. I should have used more. These are really good. Most tandoori chicken recipes have you blend your spices from scratch to make your marinade. But frankly speaking, I think that starting off with a pre-made tandoori powder is totally fine. It tastes just as good. But stay away from those bottle marinades. Those suck. I prefer Sean's tandoori powder. It's pretty easy for me to find. I got it at my local Costco, but you can find it at most Indian or Asian grocery stores. The amount of powder you use will depend on the type of tandoori powder you have. For me, this was about one packet for about 2 to 3 pounds of chicken. To this, I added about half a cup of yogurt. The authentic recipes call for dahi, which is an Indian style of yogurt, but Greek yogurt will work just fine. The yogurt thickens and adds flavor to the marinade. I then added about 2 tablespoons of ginger and garlic paste. For quick meals, I prefer to use a pre-made paste because it's a lot more convenient, but if I had more time, I would definitely mince the ginger and garlic from scratch because the taste is fresher and more vibrant. I then added the juice of about 2 limes. I know some people are sketchy about using acids in marinades, but for this, it doesn't affect the texture at all as it mixed together with the other ingredients. Now, the last ingredient is dry fenugreek leaves. If you want the chicken to taste authentic, this is the secret ingredient. This may be a bit hard to come by, but if you have a local Asian grocery store, it's definitely worth the trip. Now mix it all together and let the marinade sit at least overnight. Authentic tandoori chicken is usually made in a tandoor oven. This is a large vase-shaped oven. I'm pretty sure you don't have one of these lying around, so I'll show you how to do this on a Weber Kettle, but this will also work on any other charcoal grill. I found the key to getting almost the same cook as the tandoor oven is to use a combination of high indirect heat and convection, which I got by using a vortex and keeping the top and bottom air vents open on my grill. The vortex is great because you can get the grill to a really high temperature but still cook indirectly. When using a vortex, I always try to use lump charcoal. I've used briquettes for the same setup in the past, but lump charcoal usually gets a temperature about 100 degrees hotter. Also, if you're using the vortex and you want the temperature to get above 500, you may need to use slightly more than one chimney's worth of lit charcoal. For the wings, about 500 degrees was fine. Okay, so once the grill was up to temperature and the grits were hot, I put the wings on. If I wanted to cook more wings, I would actually cut off the tips of the wings because keeping them on makes them take up more space, and we usually end up throwing out the tips anyways. After about 20 minutes, I felt like the wings were done. If I wanted to crisp them up more, I could have left them on for about 5 to 10 more minutes. These wings are totally fine by themselves, but I wanted to make a meal out of it, so I also made some raita, which you can think of as an Indian style tzatziki sauce but with a kick, and some cumin rice with peas. I started off by grating half a cucumber. I skipped the dishes by grating the cucumber in the same bowl I used to mix everything together. Once that was done, I chopped up a handful of cilantro. I diced it fairly fine. Then I diced half an onion. I prefer red onions for this, but if all you have is white onions or yellow onions, they are fine, but the flavor might be slightly less intense. Then I chopped up the chili. I wanted to have a bit of a kick, so I kept the seeds in. Once the vegetables were prepped, I sprinkled on about half a teaspoon of ground cumin and coriander seeds. Then I added about 1.5 cups of Greek yogurt and seasoned it with salt and pepper to taste. I mixed it all together and done. One of the two sides are done. Okay, so the cumin rice with peas was actually a lot easier. I always cook rice in a rice cooker because it's super simple and it frees me up to work on something else. So for this, I used about 3/4 cup of basmati rice. This is about one whole cup based on my measurements of my rice cooker. I rinsed it under cool water about 3 times and added the required amount of water for 1 cup of rice on my rice cooker. If you're cooking this on the stovetop, you can use a ratio of about 1.5 cup of water to 1 cup of basmati rice. I also added about 1 tablespoon of cumin seeds. This is a really simple tweak to add a ton of flavor to your white rice. I finish it up with 1 tablespoon of olive oil and a handful of frozen peas. I set it to the white rice setting on my rice cooker and I hit start, and after about an hour, it was done. And we're done. There you have it, tandoori chicken wings grilled on a Weber kettle over charcoal with some cumin rice and some savory yogurt dipping sauce. Let me know what recipe you want me to make next in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe if you like this video.